Hello, everybody. You have a possibility, not only hello, Luzhniki, but goodbye, Luzhniki, see you next year. Don't forget about that. As you understand, the final session, Losha is a little bit tired. Possibly we won't be able to see him until the next year, but you see the stage is being disassembled, no chairs. So let's begin standing. Pick it up, because I won't be able to do it alone. Hello, Luzhniki. Are you still alive? Give me some noise. You know what? I think that some people are taking picture. We also should take a picture and give at least offer, because if they have survived, until 6 p.m. Sunday, this is at least an offer. Good job. Good job. Okay, please go to solar security. And honestly speaking, I think this is a very representative picture of Russian cybersecurity. The unity in Russian cybersecurity yesterday in the chat, they've agreed. Everybody come in shorts. Well, here it is. Losha? Well, we're still waiting for one more participant, and he's going to be also in shorts. Well, it's not the fact that he's going to be here, but we have agreed to come in beach look. Well, different people have different beaches. It's the first time when I came with short sleeve. I've made a big movement forward. That's what there's a difference between resultative cybersecurity from the formal approach. You see, here's the result. Here it is. Look at me. Beach. Well, the beach look. Well, lift. Well, we did speak about shorts. Okay, let's call our Santa Claus. Santa Claus.
Да, всем привет!
Hello, everybody.
I'll
correct you that in the chat we didn't have about shorts, but about swimming trunks. I am in swimming trunks. Well, if you were able to, then you were able to, but because it's a completion of this business track part of PhD, it's moreover, we have a river next to this place. We decided to have a mini beach party while speaking about cybersecurity, its future, and what should you expect of it from this point of view, because final 2 years we've been living in very difficult conditions. Many of you do have great experience of working with foreign solutions, with Russian solutions, because no foreign has stayed in our market. And there is an opinion that year 22, many people have been living in inertia on those procurements that were made in the end of the year 2021, beginning of 2022. They had nothing to replace it by. They had no money because they already have been spent for the solutions of many foreign solutions, some Russian, etc. Year 2023 was by inertia. Many people thought, okay, everything will end up and foreign companies will come back, and then we will take it as previously and we'll forget it as the bad dream. But we understand that we currently live in absolutely new reality. And the year 2024 and the year 2025 perhaps has brought totally different expectations. And right now I would like to speak with my colleagues who represent totally different directions in the area of cybersecurity, even though we are all companies involved in cybersecurity, but some people are involved in security by design, in build solutions or mechanisms on cybersecurity, the same virtualization. Or some people are involved in classical on-prem solutions, or maybe some people do the service models in the area of cybersecurity. Some are facing both of these solutions, and now we are ready to share the experience. And Muslim, let's begin with you. Last 2 years we left in the past. What do you expect from this year and next year from the point of view of industries and expectations of the clients? What should you get people ready for? Will everything come back, or we live in new reality and we should forget as the old nightmare what was before? Okay, hello everybody. I would like to divide industries, clients and people. I don't know what should be wished to the last one. What do I expect from them? You have divided people. Okay, let's do it in the following way. I think that right now we are in a certain point where competition became acute as never before. And this is a pure subjective opinion, but basically in the year 2024, I feel competition as a vendor in its apogee. And I think the year 25 will be a point where it will reach its peak position, year 25. And from this moment of time, I think that we will understand finally that the Russian market is not sufficient for us, and we need to look somewhere outside, and it should start becoming not just some modest ideas and statements, but it should have practical, should become practical. So this understanding of the fact that we are within Russian market are closed and it's finite, it will happen in the year 2025. Okay, Aydar.
Ну, на самом деле, мне кажется,
Well, honestly speaking, I think that the year 24
мы не достигли какой-то, знаешь, такой точки стабилизации рынка.
we didn't see the point of market stabilization. You said 22, 23, 24 is different, but I think we do not see the stable market.
Вот, на мой взгляд, я согласен.
We see, well, to my point of view, I do agree about competition from one side, but on the other side, 20 companies which are trying to do
42.
42 companies.
ВХД все пропустил. Окей. 42. 4 дня.
Well, 42. 4 days. What are the changes? I know a couple of companies who have announced that they have this in GHF. Well, 42. He is right.
20 как-то прямо.
If you are 20 something,
20 многовато. И на самом деле здесь, наверное, не только оценить текущий взгляд.
well, it's not like evaluating the current opinion, but you have to look forward. Honestly speaking, it's very close in my soul, the thesis that we've been describing with Roma Shapiros on the stage. On one side, what are we speaking about? Right now, okay, COL, top management, knows about cybersecurity. And Roma says, aren't you afraid that top management started getting tired of cybersecurity? Well, everybody understands what it is, that there are threats, but I would... Well, top management, does they know what it is? And from the point of view when top management will accept certain strategy on a cross-section, or will put their head in the sand, or will try to figure it out this or that way, this will influence formation, this cybersecurity market. Well, 42 and GHV. I think that in the nearest future, we are going to see the growth of this market. Well, the cybersecurity market is interested by players who never invested into IT, and people right now see that cybersecurity market is growing from year to year, and it's in the agenda of everybody. So I do expect that there will be some big, how can I say, national champions who will purchase assets, will consolidate assets, and in such a way in the near future it will influence our market. So let's look at these questions. Ilman, well, I'm going to tell you that we see those changes, this farce that is being created, and you cannot undo it. And we live in these days of changes, epoch of changes. We did have understanding that we had previously, but import replacement, Western players. Yes, it has caught up with this market from the real point of view, from the practical point of view. So those people who have not been involved in import substitution problems, they started getting involved in it. People who didn't believe in Russian products looked finally have seen these Russian products. And I think that we cannot go back to the epoch of 5-7 years ago. We are living in new days here and now. But I do agree with Aydar. Stabilization is still not here. We don't have clear distribution. There's a race in several directions, and this race, generally speaking, moves the market. We perfectly understand. Like they say, okay, as if competition have disappeared. Well, but you say that it disappeared. Right now, it's the top, and became even more acute, and it hits up the market, and it hits the intellectual capital existing in the market. That's why strange times. We are surprised and living in it. Well, let's speak about the future, and we'll have a lot of questions about it. Okay, Vladimir, on your sky, looks like the sun have disappeared and the positiveness is here. What do you feel about that? We are still here. Are you behind or ahead of me? We are everywhere. Yes, we also are everywhere. Well, it's a proper statement. We live in wonderful times today because there are no closed topics. Previously, there were emotionally closed stories. We are not going to say, why do we have to do and have what things? It's like 8 years ago. What CM? Let's see, HP, IBM, Microsoft, these people know how to do CMs. And right now, none of them. Not a single area where we as a Russian market would say, well, we're not going to go in these directions. Right now in IT security market, any area is open and with a great competition, which is wonderful. Open competition, this is great. And you can immediately see, well, it's not good that we are headhunting the employees from each other, but this is wonderful and honest competition, which precisely will bring this market to good results. And the client is also being changed. We see less and less clients who open the functional possibility of their foreign solutions. They say, okay, can we have this from the first line and to line 350? And we see less and less of those because they understand that not Russian vendor will do those functions that, well, they can do those functions which a client needs. And this is wonderful. It opens great horizons, and all the key vendors are looking not only on the Russian market, but the Russian market is a key market. If we will prove our resilience, we will be in favor and the whole world will be open to us.
Ну, я согласен с коллегами, но...
Well, I agree with colleagues, but what I think about it, we live in the days of golden rush, not only Beybutov, and we see the environment drastically changed, conditions have drastically changed, and big number of people started moving for golden rush. Those who know, those who don't know how to do it, and that's why we have these bans like 42 vendors who are making NGHV. How many of them will survive next year? Well, I think 5, maybe 6. Objectively, so many are not going to survive. How many people do systems of virtualization? Your assumptions? 12. 20-something, just before the PhDs. But an interesting question, the market can be described not only by something that there is a lot of something, but what it is empty. How many analogies of Microsoft Exchange do you know? The corporate mail. Well, very few. Even one finger will be enough, because this is some kind of a burbess. It's a burbess.
Ну хорошо, давай ближе к кибербезу. Любимая.
Okay, let's go to cybersecurity, the favorite topic for you.
Банально библиотеки неоткуда.
Trusted repositories. You can't even find checked libraries. Well, everybody wants to check libraries, but me as a developer who makes domestic products, I have nowhere to go and find those libraries. Yes, many announce, but when you start working on them, you figure out that this is a small subset made only for themselves, and they made marketing that yes, we are so good, and nobody even expects that somebody will come and use it. And such overbans, they do have it on the market. Well, I'm not saying that when people make 42 and GHV, because people start stealing from each other, because they understand that they have to be responsible for money, and people who know how to do it, well, there are very few of those people, and it ends up that we have this spiral of death. Some people start making more and do less. Well, these are bans that we see right now. Okay, let's see Ruslan. If you will remember Golden Rush, those who've been selling shovels, they won. You heard me. Yes, I did hear you. So in my context, I have a question. The shovels were sold not by many people, not those who've been thinking about billions, but they've been solving very specific objectives. And today, vendors they are hyping very actively by producing some new classes of products, new products, because clients are asking them for that. But what is this threshold when you have to stop and continue doing whatever you've been doing, hoping that in few years we honestly will saturate our market? Because if every time we are going to rush and try to catch up some new solutions, like relative something will provide some growth, well, we are going to be vendors of 1-2 clients, and market will not feel better because of it. But speaking about vendors, there will be a lot of them, as we see Linuxes. Well, right now there are more than 10 Linuxes, and there will be even more of them, because before PH days, 2 new Linuxes were announced that they will appear. And where is this threshold? Muslim. When should we stop, and should we stop? No, you shouldn't stop. And I think the more players we have, the better it is. It's like in a forest. There are all types of animals. Some of them, if they grow in the number of species, the system digests them and reduces their numbers. They will become a food base for those vendors who have an understandable business model, who have very good product culture, and who have production processes, etc. So they can build expertise, they can develop specialists, and we're missing them, and they will be taken by stronger players. So don't stop. This is also experience, negative experience. The more people will get it in the product sense, the better it's going to be for the market, not only information security market, but also IT market. And I would like to give you a comment about shovels. Basically, we do see that they are making money, and Intel and video, and the more enablers we see represented by, I don't know, Russian or non-Russian vendors, the more we consume CPUs, DPUs, some network cards, etc. So half of them will die, most of them will die, but while they're going to be alive, we will consume these CPUs and cards. But coming back to Russian information security, and if the same GHV will be looked upon, then from the software point of view, there are no players that would manufacture these basic cubes like DPI engines that would consume all other vendors. And it seems that market is very small, especially if you look at it from the context of Russia. Well, there's not a lot of business, but players are not coming to the market at all in this part, and everybody is trying to create this basic element internally, just because there is nothing similar on the market. If there would be players within this ecosystem that would close, some people make a good SSL accelerator, some people make good DPIs with a lot of signatures, and I think that starting and launching new products and firewalls would be much easier. Okay, thank you very much. Aydar, you've mentioned about competition, some national somebody who you called who will dominate and penetrate all small ones. And to my point of view, competition in current conditions, it's not good, because competition inside of the country will lead you to the situation that you will not produce something that you need. You will fight with each other instead of doing something useful, competition with foreign players. Yes, it's an important thing, because when you go to the foreign market, you understand that in Russia you all wide and fluffy and you earn millions and billions, etc. But in the West you are nobody, because the market is developing within decades, and if you have invented something and you think that this is a unique feature, well, it's available in the West, but maybe it's called differently, but it's available. So in Russia, this competition is not needed, and maybe it makes sense to get together for several players, divide the market, everybody else kicked out from the beach. And then we're starting doing business for the country first, and then we are moving to conquer the world. Well, we were not able to come to the beach in short, so everything is ahead of us, honestly speaking. Maybe a little before what Muslim was speaking about, Muslim was asking, stopping or not stopping, who can we stop? Well, the market is going to stop, and you're absolutely right from the point of view of, well, for me, right now, infosecurity companies can be divided into two categories. Some of them are taking hype and follow the stream because the market is growing. Other ones are thinking what can be done here and now, how it's going to be in the future. They're thinking about something else. And right now, I would like to give you a small historical note. Well, I came out to my shelf. It's the vanity of 4 days. And then I've understood that I was here in Luzhniki. It was first time. And you won't believe, first time I was in 1984. And the Goodwill Games. Do you know what is Goodwill? Not many people know what is your own balcony in Luzhniki. Well, I will tell you separately. It's from that story. Some people catch hype and some people go to Luzhniki. And from the point of view, some people don't know what Luzhniki is. That's what we're speaking about right now. Free Will Games, 1984, Olympics in America, Soviet Union boycotts Olympics and has alternative Goodwill Games. It all happens in Luzhniki, and I'm thinking about it. Okay, 1984, how many did we have foreign software in cybersecurity? 40 years have passed since. And let's think what happened in the period since 84 till 24. So it's asking question how much foreign software we had in cybersecurity. We'll have the same answer in 1984. God forbid about it. I'm not speaking about it, but are you confident? Well, I agree with you that the grinded meat cannot be ungrinded, but the fact that market is going to open, do we think about that? And I think it's going to open, and it's not only us who's going to compete with foreign companies and who's going to look at the resultativeness of our cybersecurity, but we have to be ready that even in our territory we could compete with foreign vendors. Are we ready for this? Non-patriotic words you're speaking. Wait, let me finish and then you'll speak patriotically. Yesterday, 10 a.m., I think we were given strict definition at this stage. We've been given different definitions, I understand, but I've heard something else. I've heard that we all believe that Russian cybersecurity is #1 in the world in a horizon of 5 years. We're starting this 5-year period. Everybody, go ahead. Good luck. Well, we should live with this strategy. What other strategy can you have if you don't have this strategy? And many players in the market who come as mushrooms. So if the company has a specialization, has a strategy, takes a certain niche, it will be successful. But if you are trying to be here and now, catch hype, collect a team, buy somebody, find something momentarily and create a product that somebody will have like 1-2 clients. From these companies, long term, they have no chances. And honestly, who survives? Only those companies which have more strategic thinking and understanding of what they do globally in this market, what product they create, ecosystem, platform, which message, which meanings they are thinking about creating new products in their portfolio. How do they increase this portfolio? Only these companies in a long-term period of time survive, and only these companies successfully compete and captivate new niches and new territories. That's why it's a question of competition even in a closed market. We have a lot of organizations and events and festivities, and this festivity is a confirmation to this of deep experts who understand applied areas, cybersecurity, information security. And we ourselves, in the course of recent years, when Western companies have left, there is a big jump of interest for the companies that have been using Western technologies to products, Russian products, and requirements to Russian products, which are broadcasted through the prism of what they've been able to see. So the absence of the Western vendors is transferring these footprint to the requirements, to the experience of guys, to the expertise who have used it, or maybe they understand what they want. And this balance, when we do see that company goes with the demand for the practical security, for the resultative security, it drives the development of the market. And those who can catch it up from the vendors, those integrators who can embody it, they will be leaders in the future. Thank you. Ruslan, question to you. A long period of time you've been working in a foreign company. Then you've been working with Russian information security vendor. Not only vendor, but a service company, etc. And a company which creates information security solutions. And then you went to your own company and you're doing not information security, but virtualization solutions. Isn't this an answer to the future of Russian information security market? Well, I would like to try to give you an answer to this question. Guys are ready to the point that market is being fragmented right now, and it will be fragmented by two types: for companies which have access to cheap money and who can allow themselves to invest due to these reasons, and to companies which have brains. They have people who have certain knowledge, but they don't have economical possibility of making investments. They don't have the monetary shoulder to do it. And as I think, between these two situations, for a certain period of time, there will be a gap. And right now, we observe it. So how does the new typical product looks like? We take something from the open source, right? And we start pulling some web face, marketing materials are written for this, but it's not a Russian product because it has no scientifically intensive Russian technologies, which usually describes our guys, good math, good algorithms, etc. And there are companies who ideally could do something like this, but they don't have a possibility of announcing themselves, or maybe don't have a possibility to try their own efforts in the proper field. So they do something underneath for a small business, but they will never be able to hit the field of the big business because basically nobody will be able to notice them. And before the first ones will meet the second one, and this will happen because the first one will have no place to spend their money because they will run out of ideas, and second of all, ideas will be but no money, and they will meet with each other, and this will happen in the nearest future. And this situation, when some people have money and other people have brains, this situation will happen. Well, you wanted fire, but I disagree. We have a small world. I haven't finished. Okay, go ahead. Well, in order for this to happen, we need to do a simple thing. We need to start communicating with each other in the beginning. And second of all, we need to break paradigm in the heads of people. Because previously, what we were thinking, if this is a product of a big Western vendor, it's a priori good. Believe me, as a person who worked 18 years in Cisco, I can say not all products were good. Sometimes they were best on the market, but some sometimes they were, roughly speaking, medium. I've worked in IBM, and I've been able to sell non-working products. Well, we almost didn't have non-working products, but you have lost this experience. That's why we have you. Well, coming back to the question, honestly speaking, nothing has changed except for the name and brand. Honestly, same people, brains are the same, ideas are the same, possibilities, well, maybe are the same with the desire. If you will get intense, well, possibilities are the same. What's wrong? Well, it's wrong in the people's head that Western is better because it's Western. But please pay attention. New product is being developed. How they call it? Well, 90% of the name will be in Latin letters and GHV. Statistically, yeah. Volodya, Vladimir, your neighbor on the right side have split all the companies by smart and beautiful or smart and rich. Which category you put yourself into? First of all, possibly I will disagree with Ruslan. And as in the industry, also in the teams, please, competition will conquer everything. We are in a condition when we have great market relations, and the more competitors you have, the better it is, and I've been able to observe it. I think you've been saying it. Well, give tasks to proper people, they will do it and will effectively spend resources. Not effective spending resources, no such thing. I've seen it. I've been given those tasks, and I've tried to give away these tasks. Yes, and then you do it for them, and then you have to say thanks to them for doing nothing. That's why only competition, and the more competition, the better it is. And as for people, please listen to me. The story is very simple. We are comparing today, and I'm listening. Some people say that for the client, the most important thing is not admissible events. Some other people speak about something more resultative. But clients, from time to time, are looking more not at the features, and they don't look at our point of view on this world, but they look at a specific solution of their own problems, more business problems, because they all came upstairs. CISA came to the first line, and of course, for them, it is important to protect their business and business of their companies and protect it, completely protect it. And they will judge us, and this is wonderful when you come to them and you solve specific objectives. And this is why I think it doesn't matter what do we compare, functionality, approaches, or something else. The key situation here is the people and teams, and the better we can collect smartest and the people who achieve success in the fastest way, throw further, run faster, and not only gathering those talented people in our companies, but also do it in such a way so that they would have a convenience of working in your country. These are two factors which are difficult to understand. You can pay a lot of money, but still you can have a lot of internal bureaucracy or something else, or you can make this golden cage or silver cage, whatever, and this person is not going to open up himself. So everything, all these competition between the key vendors is the exclusiveness of the best employees. Well, I removed some of my questions that I wanted to ask, and you said that we're not going to follow your questions, and right now I see some questions from the audience, and I will ask these questions. I will start with Ilman, the question, where can I buy a suit like that with peaches? 5+ question, guys.
Ильман подарит, на самом деле.
Beach suit. Ilman will give you this suit for the best question. Aydar, no. Honestly speaking, travel abroad, go shop there, everything's available out there. Not patriotic. Well, I feel it's not a very patriotic discussion today. Muslim, the question to you, partially to you, and more it is connected to, well, the world moves in the direction that more services and products are provided through subscription. And is it possible that in result everybody will go to the subscription model and nobody will buy something on-prem? And what's going to be the consequence for the vendors? Vladimir, then I will give floor to you. When honestly speaking, you invented this question yourself. Here it is. Okay, then I'll have to answer it. Well, as for subscription, let's see, partially there's a small correlation with what Ruslan does. And I believe there are no contradictions because he's involved in cloud platforms, virtualization, but I'm deeply convinced that the future of cybersecurity is in the cloud, but not from the point of view of specialized service providers like us will provide services from the cloud, but the fact that majority and mostly the business, they don't need security as such. It's some kind of a property of the informatization objectives, digital services, no matter how you call it. So all of them are moving into clouds. So from the point of view of development and increase of the level of maturity of these clouds, more and more services will appear there. In the beginning, they will give them for free, then they will integrate some precise vendors who are involved in some separate IT security model, looking at the model of these vendors because they have provided in the format of marketplace, then successfully buy them because you have enough money. And this is back to the question of those who have money, maybe not the smartest one, but observing ones, they will buy these small vendors and will form their own ecosystem. And the more is the consumption in the cloud from the side of IT and business, the more security will be consumed by them in the cloud. And coming back to your question, if the subscription model will be prevailing in the IT services, then security will be prevailing from the point of view of subscription model. As for the product management, it is considered that subscription is the top of maturity from the point of view of pricing. We see other marketing laws working there from the point of view of attracting audience, from the point of view of how much resources you can spend per one user, per one client. That's why precisely I'm confident that subscription model will become stronger from the point of view of its share and bigger, but will it be alone? I doubt it, because there are different types of businesses or production which are not ready to give something into cloud, and this air gap, fully isolated infrastructure, we need it. So each vendor, irrespectively to creating some cloud native products which have to be launched, lived in the cloud, still will be stored on-prem option of installation or the regular scheme of licensing. You wanted to add something? Yes. Well, I've been looking at service provider model. Well, right now I work in the largest service provider, and all the necessary product placement is there. And I suddenly was able to see that what stops the fast development of services, it's not the information security skill, but we as vendors, we don't give those services which business wanted to buy. And I will disclose the story. Are you vendor or service provider? I'm both, vendor and service provider. And I went to the same Cyprus, and there were people who were responsible for very big digitalizations of very big companies and state stores, etc. And for them, right now, the speed is much more important for them because we are spending 2% of GDP for IT. But if you will look at other countries, Western countries, India, there will be 6+, 8+, and even 9+%. And we all are running in this direction, and speed is very important. Information security speed is also very important. It will sell understandable services with very fast SLA, fast start, and services are such, and they have to be such. So behind services, there's a future, and behind, well, they all have removed all the obstacles, and the rain is confirmation to that. Ruslan? Yes, Losha, I wanted to add that honestly speaking, with cloud model, there's one interesting thing about cloud model.
Она заключается в том, что тебе не только
And it comes from the fact that it's not just easier to pull the person into the subscription, but it's much easier to lose a person from the subscription. And holding a person in the subscription, well, you will be required much more effort from this point of view. And this is much more fees for marketeers and developers of the products when you move to the subscription model, because it requires much more discipline for the product and for for the better market understanding, because very quickly you can lose all your clients on these subscriptions. And I think that we will have cloudless future, but not right now. Well, I think looking at those clouds that we have above our heads, you will become football commentator because we have to scream into the microphone to hear yourself. Well, I would like to give you a comment because we have a very big fight around what do we think to be cloud native and subscription model. These three concepts are different from each other, and from the point of view of cloud, this is just a place where your service is being located, and if it can provide protection in the infrastructure of the client or maybe services which already are in the cloud, this is a model of provisioning. But from the point of view of cloud native, this is a driver which allows technologically build the product. This mobility, following the growing capacity and power, ability of the software to get adopted, Dockers and containers which appear and disappear. This cloud native, from the point of view of maturity of the product, which is necessary for big enterprise, it has to be in the primary cloud, but the subscription model is a system of licensing. You can take a regular SOC and sell it by subscription with licenses, and every year you can take the same amount because it's for subscription model. And when these combinations out of three start being combined, then we see images of like SaaS, placement in the clouds, and I would separate these things. Well, Aydar, question to you. We have innovation to the foreign market considering the political situation. Well, I think when I've seen from this stage, I think what will happen if there will be rain, well, that's what's going to be. We have got prepared, well, plan B. And I'm really thankful. About striving for the foreign market. Yes, we have to move in this direction. One of the reasons you gave to us, and we have to move in this direction just with the purpose so that we can measure your own competitiveness on the real market. This or that way, I think that our market is located behind the Iron Curtain, and it gives an opportunity to reassemble the industry to start it, but in any way we have to go and compare ourselves with really strong competitors. That's a story number one. Story number two, I think that in any case we need to work in the foreign market just to be able to check the technologies which are developing globally, and once again be on a certain peak. Ideally, we can become the first ones, and we can define the trend, not in piqué, but in picky. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But once again, for me, I have a feeling of getting to the foreign market, and this is an opportunity. As it was said by Muslim, this is also to extend addressed market, because there's an exchange market which is smaller than Russian, but the potential of its growth is a significantly big one. And it's Far East and Africa. Please explain your... Not everybody have their balcony and go abroad. Well, should I explain these abbreviations, but Elman shouldn't. Well, I've been listening to him, and does he listen about import substitution when he speaks about those things? Well, it's a small comment. Dear colleagues, I will ask people in the audience, do you hear whatever we say? You hear us. Wonderful. I have a question and I would like to give the answer. I would like to become rich. I've purchased the shares of GK Astra. I wasn't lucky. Alexei, tell me please, should we transfer all our shares into the Positive Technologies shares? Yes, you should. Honestly, I'm not the share owner for Positive Technologies for now, but looking at how they grow, well, you should do that. Elman, a question to you. Can you work in cybersecurity in the beach in your shorts. Definitely, if it's a remote format, if it is permitted and this is welcomed in an organization, and there are examples, we know, we see, we observe, why not? The same thing that I'm doing right now with that remote. I'm working in the shorts, but not on a white sea beach. Okay, Ruslan, is there a sense to open own vendor company for information security products? If you have an idea and you feel that nobody else does it, of course, open it. Ask for people and money for all of this. Where can you take it?
Ну, ты подожди, ты задал другой вопрос.
Well, wait, you asked different question. No, we do understand what does he mean by other things. I remember in 1998, I came to the Russian market, internet security system, which was purchased by IBM a little bit later, and ISS, in addition to products, had a very good model, and my colleagues, founders, have told me that any startup in information security, not only information security, should always consist of two people: technical person who knows what he creates and a businessman who knows what he sells. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It will work. That's why there's an institute of angel investors, there are incubators, and if you have a good idea, well, we do have enough incubators in information security, and many companies, including the present one, they have their own incubators. And if you are afraid and understand that you're not able to pull it up, then we have a lot of companies who are ready to invest into the idea. If you will be able to sell this idea to at least one person, it means that you will be able to sell it to others. I will completely support Ruslan, and moreover, we are one of those companies. Every day we're searching for startups, and 6 months ago I've described the criteria. Why do I like a startup? Strong team, wonderful managers who understand how to sell, good business idea, some starting sales, and basically I started crossing out from the back end because I understood that nothing like that exists, and criteria right now, well, not bad guys, but idea is not really bad. The guys are really good. Generally, yes, we are talking, we're communicating 2-3 times a week. I talk to young guys, and I can say that this market is really open. So if you have an idea, please run, and somebody is going to help you. Well, questions both to Vladimir, Elman, and Aydar and Muslim. If you see colleagues, or if we're being watched online and they have some good idea, can they come to you? Well, of course, they can come to Vladimir. He has the list out of 1 point. If there are good people, he can look at them. Ilman, Aydar, Muslim. Are you ready? Well, these are not single cases. And speaking about conferences, well, when they offer some ideas in M&A, they offer some, well, the teams. Well, we do have this experience, and I'm one of those people who can take you to certain branches of discussion of this story. Okay, for your business, you are the CEO of the company, you have the product area and service area, and at the same time, you're also a partner of a number of vendors. You are multi-headed server, whatever, who, or a three-headed dragon. Why are you saying that? Let me answer. Okay, you are baby. Well, guys, objectively, I think that every sustainably developed company in the cybersecurity does need fresh ideas, people, internal drivers, and I will be surprised if somebody will say that we don't need. Everybody needs. And I think that all companies are hunting for people with ideas and those who can fulfill those ideas. Zero problems. Thank you, Muslim. Okay, let me finish. I'm supporting my colleagues, and the company is responsible for the whole product line and responsible for searching for those teams and companies. And there's a number of peculiarities from our point of view. We are not ready to become shareholders, but we are looking we're looking at all the companies because we want to find some startups which will be strategically additional to this product portfolio that we are developing. And once again, another important moment that I would shed some light on. Well, right now, practically all the vendors, and one of the challenges, those who are building their ecosystem and those who are not mono vendor, not mono product company, but a wide product portfolio, all of them have this crisis of products as a class, as a specialist, product B2B cybersecurity, irrespectively to the availability of different accelerators. This is a rare animal that has to be educated. It should have a certain set of soft and hard skills. But what do I think that we, from this point of view, are moving in the direction of this school, well, in the direct sense, we have this internal school of products, and some of them will face some ceiling, will face this pyramid, and will go to the market, create their own startups, join some other teams. And to my point of view, after a couple of years, we're going to have this cohort of experienced products who played into these products of company and are ready to create their own businesses and do it more successfully. Thank you. Ruslan, Vladimir has appealed to you about hiring specialists and the problem with employees, meaning something by that. And we have a question related to this. Previously, it was considered that you shouldn't invent a wheel when you have everything foreign, but then we've been losing all our specialists. Should we teach people, or maybe we shouldn't, but do we teach employees, or do we buy the employees? And don't you think that they are smart and they are rich, and rich will buy those employees from the market by offering salaries in two directions, and there will be no smart left. They will all go to the rich ones, and smart feel very bad with rich. That's true. You're absolutely right. And honestly speaking, experience shows us that you can buy a smart one and he will work for a smart one for a certain period of time, but then he will feel bored, or he will be pressed by the rules of working for the rich, from the fence to the lunch, write 115 reports, and don't forget, do this for the boss, and that for the boss. So, there's an anecdote about it. Well, I'm a smart one and I'm not going to do it. So, many smart people, if you will look at them, if you will try to hire people from the market, very often key people are not going to big companies. They are saying, well, I don't know, relatively speaking, green quant, no, not interested. I don't like your corporate culture. Relative big Smuzjava or this red internet, etc. No, I'm not interested, you know. I don't like your corporate culture. I'm speaking honestly. I know those people. They don't want to go to big companies. They want to work in small companies where they see results of their work and where they can influence it. Plus, they have a possibility of becoming this blue horn, and they understand that they can influence it. They are influencers. And this is a big difference between working in big company and small company. There are people who are more up for stability, and there are people who are more risky players. And smart people, usually, they move to risky purely by their nature. And I would like to add, and this is why, after listening to people like Ruslan, we came to the conclusion and we did something that colleagues have not been speaking about. This is a history of possible to buy, but not for long. But you have to keep a level of freedom. It's not why people invented M&A. People invented M&A only 50-50, where 50 stays in the business and they keep office, etc., in order to try to keep their ecosystem internally, but at the same time be in a part of this big story. And this is perhaps how we will be able to do that, you know, to have this big shoulder. By the way, as an example, I would like to tell you we had a first day separate track for CISA, and we had a conversation about the salary, and everybody was speaking about something good, something bad. But when I've asked them a question, who will move to another place of work if you will receive double salary, 80% of people have raised their hands. So when people say that we're smart, we're not going to do that, people are lying because they have not been offered double salary yet. Yes, you can do it once or twice. As we can see it from Russian experience, there are people who enter 5, 6 times in the same company, and every time they receive maybe not double, but significantly higher salary than for their position, but earlier or later they will start beating you. Well, it's you have to jump off on timely basis. Okay, the next question is to Ilman. It is related to, is there a sense for vendors in different classes of solutions to get united into a multi-class hyper vendor? A big question. Different vendors united into some monster? Yeah. Then I will rephrase this question because today Aydar had a work ecosystem approach, and you had a phrase about platform orientation. What is better today for the market when vendor offers a platform consisting as a constructor from a lot of Lego cubes and tries to enforce it on the consumer, and consumer is on the need of one vendor, single vendor? Or it is better to have ecosystem approach when different products from different vendors know how to communicate through the API, exchange data, commands, etc. And then you can collect, not like a Lego constructor, but all the cubes are assembled into a single picture. Yes, I can give the comment. Well, for me, the ecosystem concept, it's much more than simple ability to do it through the API, to integrate through 3 solutions. Ecosystem is, first of all, meaning and the strategy inside of it, implemented strategy, technologically implemented strategy. As we promote a resultative cybersecurity, and through this sense, we have requirements to products, requirements to the platform. We look at non-admissible events, how they are detected in a number of products. So when we speak about ecosystem as some vector of development and methodology and technology, which companies define in the products and expertise, for me, this is ecosystem. And answering the question, do we have to compare somebody with somebody? If big vendor, and if this happens, like 2 big independent players will agree and will go somewhere together. But if for some reason this will happen, then we should take into consideration, do they have similar meanings? Wouldn't it happen that the team will move, but all the product sense will be diluted for one of the players? If they have aligned meanings, senses, opinions, and they are complementary, adding to each other, then this collaboration will only reinforce those players, and we will get configuration 1 + 1 = 3. But if something like that is not happening, then we are speaking about borrowing some experts, small experts. Okay, let's see. You've been working with IBM, and IBM, as many other Western vendors, they had the practice of creating alliances of vendors in different areas, like ransomware, in the area of threat intelligence, etc., etc. However, it seems that these alliances never helped anybody in Russia. You don't believe in this his story with alliances. So if Volodya, your neighbor and Pufik from the right side, will come and tell you, okay, let's try to collaborate, and you will say, okay, Volodya, you are great, but we will go on our own way. I do believe in alliances which have real win-win, not the win-win that we got used to, where one side wins and another side thinks that they win, but real one. We have alliances with, let's say, manufacturers of big operating systems, and where we really adding to each other. Our agents on the operational one, and we are friends by names, price lists, and this story enriches each other. We go to their market, they go to our markets. If it's a story about 2 players who might have the portfolio solutions for 2-3 products. VNGHV, for example. I think it's not going to work. I have a better example. Who think that Russian market has a completed solution of a protected remote access? How many hands do we have? It's a very painful story for Ruslan. Okay, let's see. There are some psychiatrists, psychoanalytics. Rostelecom was not able to move the market and make it do it for themselves. Protected remote access for any money. The companies didn't want to do it as the client wanted, and everybody made their own piece the way they see it. Well, back to the question of ecosystem approach. And Ruslan speaks about the technical story, and he's absolutely right. We have even problems with integration, bad problems, about different players. Well, I was building these collaborations on the previous place. They wonderfully destroyed in these 2 years when I wasn't touching it, because unfortunately, even if you have cross-sections of meanings, ideas, and everything is cross-secting, everything is wonderful, and you do the business, well, the greed wins over any common sense, and this is a problem. How can we build properly these partnership stories in such a way so that regular sales stories wouldn't destroy good cooperation? I think this is a challenge to all of us. I know N examples when we have collaborated, went somewhere together, business started moving, and somebody disappointed somebody else. Thank you very much, Muslim. We are approaching the finals. The question is to you. In our country, we have a certain amount of electronic marketplaces where different vendors are selling themselves, participate in tenders, etc. So the question has arrived. Does it make sense of creating single platform and purchasing and selling different CZE from different vendors? Would you go to a platform like that if, for example, Ministry of Digital Technologies would create it and would create this marketplace for information security? Well, listen, the platform is a tool from the point of view of a vendor of sales. It's the instrument of sales. If we would be able to see some value in it, then why not? It's always a question of, can you fulfill some objective by this tool, and what is this price? Well, you could go there, but if efforts are more expensive than effect that you get from it, then why? Every big company has its own platform where they publish their procurements, and in principle, all the big players and non-big players, they know vendors in the area of information security. And I'm not really confident that the platform is going to increase the awareness to learn about some new products, even though you do understand that not everybody knows about your 40 or 50 solutions. Will this platform become this tool or not? You should sit down and discuss, but there are no contradictions about it. Okay, we have to speak about the clouds. Vladimir, the second to the last question before I will give floor to Aydar, who started this discussion, and I will give him opportunity to finish it. Plus, the question will be very good for him. Okay, Vladimir, question is to you. It is related to what do you think, will the state increase its influence and regulation in the information security sector? Yes. Thank you. Next question. Aydar. No. Thank you very much. Next question. You started our discussion, and you have to complete it. There is one wonderful toast for the bright future and dark beer. Which toast we should say, especially when we speak about the bright future of Russian cybersecurity? Well, it's going to be the end, even though not everybody have drinks in their hands. But after this discussion, everybody will have the possibility to continue. Honestly speaking, I did like the fact that right now on the stage, we've heard a lot of different opinions, as I think. But generally speaking, the spirit of PhDs and everything that I've seen in the last 4 days, well, I'm leaving this place with a very light heart because I was able to see a lot of burning eyes. I was able to communicate with many people, and I do see a certain drive, and I'm leaving this place with a certain feeling. As I've told you, I've been here 40 years ago, and we start 5 years of that will be called Russian cybersecurity #1 in the world, and I have a clear objective. In 5 years, when I will talk to my son, I shouldn't put ashes on my head and say, well, my son, we fucked up. Well, I think that toast, well, basically, guys, let's not fuck up. Hurrah. Without and on this positive note, in a good sense of this word, without any connections to the company, I would like to draw a line, not only about and around our discussion, I have said it properly, but to the whole PhDs, because it was the last day. It is the last session of not only the business track, but as I understand, generally speaking, the whole PhDs and none of my colleagues who've been following the scientific track, technical track, they didn't want to do something Sunday 6 p.m. I was the only crazy person like that, and as we can see from what we're able to do, this was good. You came here, and you came here not just because it's raining on the street, but also because it was interesting for you to look how people in trunks and beaches can speak funny about cybersecurity and don't kill each other for that, because all my friends and competitors simultaneously. Well, and I hope that for the next year, PhDs will become even a bigger platform for collaborations, and we will be able to say that in the course of this year, we have not fucked up market or the country or specialists or our generation. And this is a youth forum, and yesterday we had a youth day, and we have a lot of things to boast about cybersecurity. Thank you very much, cyber colleagues. See you next time, and see you next PhDs.